Alrighty, I'm gonna do a video, um, I'd say about maybe internet trolling, but possibly trolling in general if I get the chance. Okay, I should start out by admitting that I have a deep-seated problem with my own personal internet trolling. For some reason, I have this weird urge to just troll pretty much everyone on the internet for fun. Like, I just can't fucking help it. I enjoy trolling people on the internet. Not for any kind of weird satisfaction over their discontent or their anything really. More just I enjoy the process of watching how people process their own thoughts, essentially. Watching people's arguments and responses to it. So, there are a few sites that I regularly troll. 4chan would be an example of that site. Tumblr would be an example of that site. And between the two, you can make them troll each other. I also use them both for legitimate reasons as well. I troll on Omegle. I troll on Chatroulette. I troll on Facebook whenever the fuck I'm actually on Facebook. I troll Craigslist. No, that's not it. I also troll random chans and random institutions through email sometimes. I find that quite entertaining. And sometimes I troll people in real life. So, the first thing I'll talk about is probably different types of people you can troll. I'll start with like easy targets. So, an easy trolling target would probably be someone who is considering themselves to be really intellectual. You may not win the intellectual battle, but they have this strange belief that if they keep fighting with intellect against just random statements and horrible assumptions, and then sometimes intellect in there, that they'll eventually get something out of it. And these kind of people basically continue talking to you and try to convince you to concede to their point. If you just continue denying their point, denying facts outright, you'll essentially succeed in trolling them. Another thing I find a lot with intellectual types, or maybe pseudo intellectual types, is that they assume a lot based on things that they've done in the past, but they often make false assumptions, and they believe they are correct in a lot of their false assumptions. I remember having a troll conversation with a communist and comparing the organisation to be the same as fascist organisations, and comparing certain movements that they do to be similar to fascist movements. And the guy was adamant it wasn't right. I was saying that communism would never work, and he was adamant. He kept on talking about Marxist Leninism and socialism and such and such and such. And I told him that Cuba was a very unsuccessful country, full well knowing that socialism under Cuba has caused very little problems for the country itself. Let him go on a rant about that, and essentially in the end he said that people like me should be put into forced labour camps for the communist oppressors, and I told him that that's just like Hitler, and he said that that doesn't compare to Hitler, which was that was pretty funny. Thinks I should be beaten to death. I then continued through this line of arguing intellectually and non-intellectually interchangeably, and sort of just realizing he was male, told him I wanted to dominate me and that I was into him, and his narcissism and self-belief just completely eroded into this thing of, oh, there's sexual interest and my brain is distracted, and completely won him over to my point, and then left the conversation. He has no idea what the fuck happened there, but I do. That was quite interesting. For all I know, he was extremely intellectual in trolling me, though. Other easy targets include extremely, extremely, like, dedicated to anyone who's dedicated to any cause. Once you find out what cause it is, you can troll them on that cause. And then people who aren't dedicated into causes, you can troll them by talking about how they have no inherent meaning or how they're lazy and such. You can pretty much, with anyone who's willing to continue a conversation with you, troll them by asking them enough questions or saying enough things and finding one that hits a weak spot and continuing down that line. But, have some morals with it. Don't go pissing off 13-year-olds on the internet. Don't go upsetting people who are suicidal or who've had really hard traumas. If you say something like that and you don't realise they have a hard trauma, it's a different thing. But to me, it's just weak to go after people who are like rape victims or victims of abuse or like really young or just haven't done much in life, so they don't understand certain concepts. I think it's unfair. They are easy targets, I'll say that, but it's unfair. So methods of trolling include, say on 4chan, just posting any image that most of 4chan users don't agree with, and posting, I find with 4chan posting intelligent and well drawn out SJW, social justice warrior type posts, often trolls people on 4chan. And if you want to go even further, you can tell them that your entire movement, your entire social justice warrior movement is just a troll in itself, how you are so much better, how there is no inequality or there is no problem, you acknowledge it and you're just fucking with people. This upsets them more because it makes them feel inferior from what I've experienced. And because whilst they may post reactions like fuck off and die, etc., etc., I know it hits a lot of people's weak spots in themselves because they feel like even though they're being openly trolled, it's been successful. I find with stuff like Facebook, it's pretty easy to get into any kind of political, philosophical debate with basically anyone who posts something about that, or essentially get into a debate about anything to do with science and just troll it, just outrageously say things that just simply are not true, and just continue saying things that are not true, as if you've got some vindicative belief. Allow them to give you evidence and proof. They for some reason, it takes a lot of time for them to realise it. Obviously don't openly flame them, just keep going down the same line of thought and keep making it seem rational, to the point where it just seems like you're deluded that it's rational, but like it looks like you're still being rational about it. Trolling people on Omegle is quite easy. You can add thousands of different interests, and whatever mutual interests you come across, you can troll them on that particular interest. Like, you could say put the Smiths as a tag and get into an argument of how they're a shit band, or whatever, or be more inventive of it. Talk about how the Smiths are an amazing band and how they embrace Nazi ideology to someone who's clearly not interested in Nazi ideology. That's a better way to troll, like in a way, because like you like the same thing as they do, but you believe it has a meaning that's completely against their belief system. I find this is a good way to troll people. Chat relay, easy enough to troll people on cam with chat relay and Omegle, just by simply pretending to be a woman, by using a cam of like a porn website of some kind. That's a pretty good way to troll people. They think you're a genuine person. If you can get enough like reactionary gifs or such that are of the same person, you can kind of compile them, and when someone asks you to wave, make it so it waves. You can probably get programs that are already programmed to do this kind of thing, and then reveal that you're a male, or vice versa. Have a cam of an extremely attractive man, and do the same but in reverse, essentially. Tumblr. Now, Tumblr's probably one of the easiest websites to troll in the world, but it's not always worth trolling because people on Tumblr are pretty fucking sensitive, a lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them can be quite sensitive. But it's pretty easy to find out whatever the latest trends are in Tumblr and have a contrary opinion, or just, as I said, post stuff about those trends and misconstrue them completely. Like, say that you embrace those trends and embrace all the ideologies that that trend stands against, or all the things that are the opposite of that trend, and it just drives people bonkers when people have one belief and the exact contradictory belief. It's it's good fun though. I like trolling on small forums just because it's quite easy. Like, ones where you don't need to log in, where you just have a username, you can just keep using the same username and trolling everyone, and I know who the troll is. You can even get friends involved who all troll together. So yeah, it's good fun to troll. You can even troll shit like YouTube by just saying flame shit in the comments. YouTube's a place where flame shit actually does seem to work in the comments for some reason. I mean, flaming is effective sometimes, but it's not as effective as a guaranteed thing as, I don't know, like categorically playing against selected people's psychological weaknesses and worries. But don't be too fucking cruel with it. Don't try and fucking break people down. Just have a bit of an argument is the way I feel about it. And, you know, in the end, I often troll people and tell them I'm sorry and actually explain to them real world views and have an actual conversation with them. And sometimes it leads to good friendships on the internet, actually. Now, trolling in real life, a lot more risky, potential to get beaten up or socially dejected by certain people. I mean, same on the internet, but it's not, you know, it's not as in your face. It's not a physical thing. It doesn't matter as much. There are people everywhere anyway on the internet. You'll find 1,000 new people on the internet. If you troll in your local area, you're possibly gonna fuck yourself over a little bit. So yeah, what is a good example of a way of trolling someone? So any kind of public prank, like a fake proposal to someone, would be a good way of trolling them. If you know them, that's a different thing. That's just you having fun with someone, or maybe even proposing to them. Good for you if you want to do that. But yeah, proposing to random strangers or playing knock it or run, I guess, would be considered as trolling. Trolling by playing Make Them Move, which is a game where you're not allowed to touch the other person, but you're allowed to go as crazy as you fucking want in order to make them move. If you're a really fucking crazy geezer, you could go to a rally of some kind and protest against whatever the rally's about, or you could protest both against what the rally's about and for what the rally's about. As I said, with the contradictory opinions, that's a pretty strange way of trolling. You can even say, if you're trolling the Westboro Baptist Church, say dress up quite smart, have a God hates fags sort of banner, and underneath have, you know, a catsuit or some kind of crazy fireman getup or a nun outfit, or, you know, just some really crazy sexy thing, and put on some really camp music and dance. That would be an effective way of trolling them, and it'd be a long-standing way because they'd believe you for a while that you were one of them, and it would be probably quite a moralistic boost for the gay pride crowd that's there as well. But it's a strange form of trolling, I guess. All I'd say though is just, like, for myself personally, I just don't want to get too carried away. Don't be too fucking mean. When people are actually really, really upset, like, make them understand that either it doesn't matter, or that, yeah, you've got contradictory opinions, but fuck, you're still human kind of thing, or just reassure them that it's okay, you know, sometimes you might end up trolling people who are vulnerable without realizing it, and you've got to be careful, man. Like, for example, I usually ask people their age on the internet because I don't want to be trolling some 13, 14-year-old who's probably already got enough problems with shit tons of hormones going through their body and loads of changes around them and such. You know, young people, not fair to troll, not really old people or mentally impaired people. If you can avoid it, you know, you probably should. Anyways, this was just a little confession about my trolling. Good night.